Guild, where we get together to help each other create and succeed with automation awesomeness. We'll be starting in a few moments. I just want to give people a few moments to be able to join and enter in the chat. So if you're here, make sure you enter in your questions for the chat. Today we're going to be going over one of my favorite topics, the Automation Guild Conference. So I think I just finalized the full lineup for the Automation Guild speakers. We are going to have some roundtables, and I don't have all those speakers set up yet. So I also don't even know how I'm going to be running those roundtables, so I'm probably going to need your input on that as well. But I just wanted to give you a quick view of the speakers, the topics we'll be covering, and also jump over to the site itself, because not only is this a conference, but it's a community. And what you get when you register is not only the conference, but you also get a membership site where you can view these videos later, and you have access to a Slack channel. So I just wanted to go over all those different components in today's show. So I just wanted to give people a chance to join before we jump into it and see if there's anyone in the Slack yet. So if you are here, if you could just type in the chat, let me know you're here. We'll be starting in a few moments. I still have this weird issue when I have YouTube with chat. So just give me 1 second to make sure it's refreshing. All right, so let's just kick it off and jump right into it. And like I said, today I'd like to go over the Automation Guild Conference, the speakers, what they're covering, and also actually show you the Automation Guild site if you haven't seen it yet. And as always, I'm always looking for suggestions to make things better. So I is missing, or what you thought maybe didn't work so well. Hey, it's Joe from JoeColantonio.com, TestTalks.com, and Guild Conferences, a blog, podcast, and online platform dedicated to helping you succeed with creating automation awesomeness. And welcome to the Automation Guild show, where we all get together to help each other create and succeed with creating automation awesomeness. And in today's show, I'd just like to go over the Automation Guild 2018 conference. I just finalized all the speakers. I'm still working on some of the roundtable sessions, but I just wanted to show you some of the speakers, some of the sessions, and also because I'm calling this more than just a conference, it's a conference and community, I like to actually show you the website, the membership site that you get access to, show you some of the functionalities, some of the frequently asked questions I get asked, and just get your input within the chat, within YouTube, if you have any questions or concerns. And as I always say though, I'm always looking for ways to make things better. So if you have any suggestions or anything you think I should add or should take away to make the conference better, just let me know. As I said, I will be monitoring the chat in YouTube, so if you have any questions, just let me know during the presentation. So I'm really just going to share my laptop and just go over some of the speakers and some of the roadblocks people had in the past that I noticed with the Automation Guild Conference platform, and looking for ways to improve it and make it better. So I'm just going to jump in, share my desktop, and just give you a quick tour around of the Automation Guild 2018 conferences. If you didn't know already, registration is open, so you can start registering now. So I just want to go over some of that functionality that I think some people have asked me over and over again about, so I'd like to show that to you today. And as I said, any questions or concerns, let me know. Hit me up in chat or send me questions at guild.show. I keep changing emails. I have so many URLs. So it's questions@guild.show, not .com, .show. It's the smallest domain name I can get, and I thought that would be kind of easy for people to remember. So questions@guild.show. All right. Or even easier would be joe@guild.show. That's probably the quickest way. joe@guild.show. After the show, I'll look at any emails I may have. Like I said, I'm always available for questions if you have any concerns or things you think could make things better. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to share my screen, and let's just get into it. And as I said, I will be monitoring the chat and YouTube, so if you have any questions, let me know. All right, so the first thing is, as I mentioned, is that registration for Automation Guild 2018 is now open. We're going to have it's about 20 plus speakers this year. And rather than have a 5-day conference, I went down to a 3-day. Once again, this is me reacting to feedback. People said 5 days was too much information. They didn't have time to do it, and they wanted a 3-day. And I did a survey, and it's kind of weird that in the survey, having a 5-day conference was the last choice. So the first one was a 3-day conference. The second most popular one was over the weekend. The third was a 4-day, and then the last in bottom was 5-day, which I think is odd because I love more the better, but I understand it probably is too much information, and I know when I'm at work, it's really hard to get those days. So I tried to make it easier this year. I tried to get just 3 days, but really jam-pack those days. What I did do compared to last year, it was 10 to 5 Eastern, and I just bumped it up by 1 hour, so it's 10 to 6. So we have some extra sessions I could add to each day with that extra hour. I also changed some of the sponsor information. Some people were just concerned about sponsors, so I just really want to highlight, what would be a sponsor session and what isn't. So most of the sessions really are just hands-on practitioners in automation that are going to share a tip, tool, or technique with you to either improve your automation efforts or help you with the new effort. But we do have some vendors. I'm not opposed to vendors because a lot of times they have experience speaking with a lot of clients, doing a lot of consulting that people working for large companies like myself don't have access to. So having that input from other vendors that see a lot of things, a lot of best practices is also helpful to me. And hopefully you get benefit out of this also. And because there's already an awesome Selenium conference, I didn't want to make this just about Selenium. So there's all kinds of automation. We have mobile automation. And so I just wanted to cover some of the speakers this year, some of the sessions that they'll be going over. But as you may notice already, the first change we made compared to last year is rather than a 5-day, we now have a 3-day. It's the same price, so I like to keep it as low as possible. Because this is an international conference, I like to get as many people involved, and I've noticed keeping the price down, I tend to be able to get people registering for all different countries. Last year we had over 45 countries represented, and I think the first one was US, followed by the UK. I think the third one was actually Romania, and that's awesome. So Romania, so I was really excited about that, and hopefully that will continue. And so I just wanted to show you some of the speakers here and maybe highlight some of them, the different sessions. These are subject to change, as of course with anything that's a conference and you're trying to herd all these people together. Things are about to change. People may get sick. People may decide to back out, which I hope isn't the case. But hopefully everyone seems really plugged in, really into it. So we have Gil Tayar. He currently works for Apple Tools as a R&D evangelist, so really knows his stuff. What's really cool, he used to work for Wix, and for some reason I've been hearing a lot about Wix, all the types of automation they've been doing, and so all the groundbreaking stuff they've been doing. So he has a lot of automation experience, so it's going to be cool. We have Jeff Cheesy Morgan. This is really exciting. This is one of the people that I got when I asked in the survey, what are some of the folks you'd like to see speak this year? And Jeff was one of the top folks, and he was so kind to agree to join us this year. So he's really big. I don't know if you ever read his BDD book on Cucumber. It's a really popular book, but he contributes a lot to the Ruby community and does a lot of work with different gems. So I'm really excited about that. So here's the change. So during the lunch hour, I'm going to have a sponsored lunch guest. And so so far I have Perfecto Mobile, I have Sauce Labs penciled in, and I may have HPE. So this first one probably would be either Sauce Labs or Perfecto Mobile. And it's not going to be a vendor pitch. It's just going to be someone from that vendor talking about a tip, tool, or technique that can help you. But it is a vendor. So I just wanted to point out that some folks, if they were turned off by that, it would be a session that they're just aware that it is a vendor, that's all. And also, because I went from 5 to 3 days, I needed to condense everything. And so rather than just having an open break time during this time, I'm having a sponsor here. So you could take a lunch, you could join us later, but if it is something you're interested in, you could join us here also. And what's also great about this conference, everything is recorded. So all live events are recorded. and I upload them into the site within 24 hours. So if you did miss a day, if you did miss a section, you did miss a session, you can always go in later and view it later. And if you're not able to join us, you can always send me a question if you had a concern or you wanted me to ask the question to the speaker. All right, so just really quick, I don't want to take all this time. Just wanted to scroll through some of the names here. You know, we have Richard Bradshaw from Ministry of Test. We have Jane. This is a new thing, Win App Driver. I saw this at, I think, in Selenium conference in Austin by the folks at Microsoft. It's their implementation of, it's like a Win App Driver. So you can actually drive Win apps, not just browsers. So really excited about that. Jane works at Microsoft and she has an intro session on that. Here's some mobile sessions. We have some on QC UI test, mobile testing. For some roundtables, this is a new concept we didn't have last year. I'm still trying to decide how to make this work. So basically what I was just thinking is for roundtable sessions, and I'm open for feedback, is I was just going to have three to four experts. You know, so we'll have Angie Jones joining us when we have Greg Pascal. So we'd have like a panel of experts joining us live, and you would join and you'd be able to ask any question that you want for these speakers. And this would be at the end of each conference, the last hour. So if there's something you want to follow up on or you want to dive in more, this is where it would happen. Or it may be I put up a poll and you decide, you know, what topic you'd like to talk about. So if you have any suggestions on that, let me know. Because I'm still trying to work that out. That's the type of thinking I'm thinking for the roundtable. So that's what that's all about. All right, so that's day one. Day two, I'm really excited about Manoj Kumar. Manoj contributes to a bunch of open source projects. He's worked on Serenity. He works on Selenium, Protractor. This guy knows his stuff, WebDriver.js. So he's going to be covering two topics. He's that cool. He's going to cover WebDriver.js and Protractor. So really excited about that. Next one is Karina. Really excited about her. She's doing automation using Apache Common Helper Libraries, which is pretty cool, something I haven't seen. Also, as you see here, Lisa Crispin was kind enough to join us. Really excited about that session. That's also another top speaker folks wanted to have join us in one of the Guild conferences, and I was good enough to get her. So I know you guys can read. You can go to this page at automationguild.com and check out all our speakers. But I just want to go over really quickly some of the highlights here, some of the roundtables, and some of the type of sessions we have. So as you notice, we have sessions on REST API testing. We have sessions on web driver.js. We have sessions on Protractor. We have sessions on WinApp Driver. We have sessions on Selenium. We have sessions on just generic automation using the Agile quadrants. We have automation using UFT, automation with DevOps, unit testing. This is going to be Mike Talk's team is going to join us and how they actually do better unit testing. So really exciting stuff here. And this last session is probably going to be taken by Jason Arbin, who is the author of How Google Tests Software. So really excited about that. And bonuses, first one is TJ. He has an awesome session on how to pass a code interview. Like I said, because it went from 5 to 3 days, not everyone can join us live. So TJ has a bonus session within the Guild that you can go to watch the video. He won't be live, except he was kind enough to act as a backup speaker. So if someone did cancel on me, he would be available to take live Q&A as well. Really excited about that. So like I said, you know how to read, just go to automationguild.com, check out some of the benefits. And what's really great, what I think about online conferences is that, you know, it's not cheap to go to a real conference, an on-site conference. Even, you know, I went to an on-site conference and someone paid for my airfare and hotel, and it still cost me, you know, at least $1,000 because I had to bring my wife with me. We had to rent a car. Of course, because I'm bringing the wife, I had to extend the day. So even though technically it was free, it still ended up costing me $1,000. And that's with them paying for my ticket and airfare and hotel. So imagine if you had to go, I priced out Germany for Selenium, and it was about, was it like $3,000 to $5,000. It was something really expensive. And you know, maybe I would pay for it, but it would be out of my own pocket because there's no way my company would pay for that. And if they did pay for it, I'd have to go through all kinds of red tape just to get that blessing. So that's one of the things I'm excited about with Automation Guild. It's really affordable. It's $197, and if you have a group of 5 or more, you get a 20% discount. So definitely want to check that out. Okay, and as I said, just went to head over to automationguild.com for more info and get all the different types of benefits you get for it and some of the cool blurbs here. So I just wanted to show you, besides the conference, how it works is, a lot of people had questions or concerns about this, is we have limited time, right? And because it's an online conference, I'm always worried about quality or worried that someone wouldn't be able to join us. So how it works is I ask each speaker to create a pre-recorded video, a pre-recorded session. And I ask them to keep them between 25 minutes long, pre-recorded video. And then I get their video, I edit their video for any weird audio issues. I add some conference branding, and I upload it to the website. So I ask them to give them to me about 4 weeks before the show, before the conference starts, and I add them to the website. So if you were to register early, when you logged in, as I get these speakers' sessions, I edit them, I upload them to the membership site. You can go in and pre-watch them before the conference even starts so you can get questions in. So during the conference, like I said, because I want this to be more hands-on, these sessions also, I didn't want people fumbling with code or making mistakes. Because it's pre-recorded, we have a better quality session with more hands-on information. So I will stream their session live for the first 25 minutes. So notice, it says I have Jeff here from 11 to 12. So the first 25 minutes of his session is going to be me streaming his session live, but it's not live. It's pre-recorded. And then immediately following that, Jeff will be joining us live, really live, and to ask for a live Q&A, so you can ask him questions about his session. So that's what I think is kind of the best of both worlds. You're getting some high-quality edited videos before the fact, and you actually get to ask the speaker questions live during the conference. So that's what makes Guild conferences so unique. You get the best of both worlds. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. So talking about the website, if you go to, once you register, the main website where all the conferences are held are under guildconferences.com. So if you go to our conferences, if you go to our speakers, you could see all the different sessions we have. I'm already logged in, so let me go back to the main page. So when you go to the main page of Guild Conferences, this shows you all the conferences we've had so far, either in the past or about to occur. So if you see here, we've already had 2 conferences. One was for Automation Guild and one was Perf Guild. You can actually still get all the videos, the recorded sessions and the live Q&A sessions, all the recordings now for any of those if you missed that. But if you were to register now for Automation Guild, basically you would just go for one person, click on the one ticket, or for a group, you would click on this group ticket. And when you do sign up for a group ticket, and it's a pretty seamless checkout, if you add groups 5 or more, you automatically get a discount on your purchase applied to your total. So if you go look you notice that there's a 20% discount for 5 users or more. Now, once you get in, so let me log out and show you. A lot of people, for some reason, didn't know how to log in. When you are going to join the conference, you just go to the login screen. If you forgot your password, you just click on the forget password. So I'm just going to log in really quick, just to show you what it looks like inside the conference itself. All right, so once you log in, you'll have access to either all conferences you've already purchased. So if you've already joined us for other conferences, they also would be listed in this section. So you can either go to those or go to the new conference. Let's check out Automation Guild 2018. This is how you actually go to the main conference site. And this is the main site. So to see all the sessions, you just need to click on this Expand All. You'll see all the days and all the sessions associated with those days. If you were to click on any of those sessions, that would take you directly to that session page. Of course, I didn't receive any videos yet. So let's take a look at a conference that already occurred. I'm going to go back to my conferences, because I just want to get an idea of what to expect when you join. So Automation Guild 2018, let's take a look at what that looks like. So when you join, and the speakers are already submitted their session. You go into that day, their session, click on their session. You would see a session for their pre-recorded session, which is on top. And you can also download these. So you can download this local and keep it forever. And you also see the live Q&A for their particular session. So once the live Q&A is done within 24 hours, I try to upload them to the site. So when you go to that individual session for that speaker, you would see just their live Q&A under their session. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know within the YouTube chat. But that's how the conference sessions look like. And like I said, you just go there by going to My Conferences and you click on the guild you want to join. So live, when we're live during the Guild conference for the live Q&A, you just click on these live links. So under here, we click on the live Q&A link. It'll take us to the live session page. It's not live now because I'm not live streaming to it, but if I was, I would be on the left-hand side. You'd see me speaking to the camera like you're seeing now here. And also we'll be using Slack. There's a private Slack channel. So once you log into the Slack channel here, you would be able to either ask me questions in Slack using the web page, or what you would do is you could go to the Slack itself, ask a question underneath Automation Guild, underneath that particular day, and it would show up either way. So there's two-way communication. You can either ask a question within the mobile app itself or within the desktop app, and it will show up underneath. If I was logged in here, it would show up under Slack on the web page itself. You could ask a question on the web page, and also it's going to show up in the Slack channel. So what a lot of people do is to get the most out of the experience, they just expand this view for the full conference session, and then they get their mobile app and they use their mobile app with Slack on it to ask questions or see all the questions going on during the conference. So that's the main type of flow that would occur for the live Q&A. And really, that's really all there is to know about the Guild conference. Like I said, you have access to all your previous conferences. All sessions are recorded. So like I said, because if you notice Perf Guild, say you bought a ticket for Perf Guild, you attended it, but you missed some of the sessions or you'd like to see them again, you have lifetime access to it because you can always go back to them. You're able to watch those sessions again and watch the live Q&A. Also check out the sponsors during that time. I also uploaded, so if you expand it all, I took the Slack chat interaction for each of those days and I've uploaded it as a document. So if you want to actually follow along for each day for what may have happened during the conference, the type of interaction, the chat, you also have those log files for that chat that have been recorded in time during day one. So I have a chat for day 1, day 2, and day 3. Also, when I have time, I do try to get transcriptions done. I don't always get them done, but for sessions that may be difficult to understand, I do try to get sessions done. They also, if there was a transcription available, it would be under that speaker session. So if you would go, say, under, I know for, say, I think it was day 3, we had Grabner. If you went to resources, and I didn't upload it, but you would see if there was a transcript available, you would see it under the resources tab. You also see all the social media profiles for all the speakers, so you can follow them. And like I said, you can download sessions easily just by clicking on the download buttons. You could save them, keep them forever. And so that's the Guild conference. That's just a quick flavor for what to expect. Hopefully you're interested in it. If you are, I'd love to have you join us for the 2018 conference. Just head on over to automationguild.com and click on the register button and join us. And I'd like to have it be attendee-led, so any suggestions you have before or during or after the conference, I'd love to take that suggestion, try to work it in to the next conference, or even try to work it in on the next days of the conference if it's something I can implement pretty quickly. Awesome. So hopefully you got some value out of that. So I just wanted to end the show with some quick advice from our resident automation guru, Greg Pascal. on some quick tips he finds really helpful for him with automation. So let's check it out.
Hello, fellow automators. This is Greg Pascal here with your real-world test automation update. Hey, what are the considerations you would have when it's time to find a new test engineering position? You know, the time eventually comes, most of us will begin to look for a new employer. And as an automation engineer, maybe there's some specific things that you might consider so you get a really fulfilling sense in the work that you do. So here's a few things that I've listed that I think might be helpful for you. So first one, number one, building a product that you believe in. So as you're looking for a company, believe in the product that they're building. This is going to lead you to have a mindset of wanting to see that product succeed, and it's going to lead you to create great test automation. Now, as I was putting these things down, I also thought it would be helpful to put some red flags. One of the first red flags that came to mind is be mindful of products that go against your core values. They're out there. I don't need to really list them, but if you think about it, there's certain things that you stand behind and that you would love to buy as a consumer, and there's other things that you don't believe in and that you wouldn't. So align yourself with a company that you really believe in what they build, and be aware of those things that go against your core fundamental values. Another one is, would you want to have this company or product name on your LinkedIn profile or resume? So in the long run, could this hurt you in your career down the road? All right, number two, is that hiring manager interested in investing in your skills and talents? You should hear things like training, or they should be talking about how to improve your skills to move from where you're at maybe to more advanced skills, using the tools that you know, or tools that they have that they're wanting you to learn. Things like certifications, those sort of things would be worth hearing in that process maybe during the interview. Some red flags in this space would be things like, can't you just use Google to figure this out? Or one mindset I run into every once in a while, which is this is a red flag, is everything must be free mindset. Ask them about the current things that they're using and how they decided upon it. If it turns out that they're always going after free tools, they're always looking for the cheapest way to do it, that's going to affect the way that you're going to be able to grow with that company. So look for somebody that's going to have the idea that they need to invest in you, and invest in talents that are going to help them be more successful, and it's going to help you in the long run as well. Look for somebody who's interested in automating the right things. You should hear these words, this idea of automating the right things, that there's a balance around the things that are good candidates and not good candidates for automating. The red flag in this one should be one you all know. We just automate everything philosophy. This is still alive and well out there, this idea that just automate the entire regression suite or automate everything. And maybe there's a rare occasion where that's a good idea. I have just never seen the ROI in doing that, because everything you automate has to be maintained in the long run. Also, that the person would have realistic automation expectations, using the right tool for the job at hand. They would be aware if a framework is needed to be developed. Typically, Selenium shops are going to need to do this. Or if a tool is already in place, that they have a framework concept. Let's say they have a commercial tool like QTP or BBT or UFT. Those already have a framework methodology built into them. There's no need to build another framework. They already have there. That's why you buy the tool. Some red flags in this area around expectations would be talk of replacing manual testers with test automation. This seems to come up a lot. It comes from those junior QA managers that just haven't had enough real-world experience, and they have in their mindset they're going to replace all their manual testers with automation. Another red flag is, can't you just click and record a new test case when it fails? This one pops up from time to time as well, and is a good red flag to you that it's probably best to move on to another employer. Number 5 is finding a tool fanboy bias. Now, Joe and I have talked about this from time to time. You want to really look for a manager that can talk about multiple tools and isn't so closed-minded that they only look at one set of tools. Ensure that they actually have exposure to both open source and commercial tools. Yeah, you might wind up using open source, but you should hear that they have experience with both, because both these tools have advantages, and there's times when you want to use them and maybe times when you don't. Some red flags around this would be QTP rules, Selenium sucks sort of mindset, or vice versa. Or we do all our automation only in Selenium. Those sort of things would be red flags for me. I would want to hear somebody who's open-minded, that these are the tools that seem to work for them, but that they're open to using the right tools for the job. All right, number 6 is quality assurance experience should be important. Yeah, developing test automation as a QA engineer means that you're thinking about things like positive, negative, and boundary testing, that these are going to be important when you build your test automation. Some red flags in this space: people are only looking for that developer background as being enough to build test automation. This is a common trend in our space where we just hire developers to build test automation, and I have seen over and over again what we generally get are positive test cases and no consideration for negative and boundary testing. Another red flag is we just hired a bunch of consultants to build our test automation and now you own it. Again, this is kind of a hit and run approach to test automation. I know that folks have the best intent when they do this. I have never found it to be that successful when I have to just pick up someone's framework that was hired to bring in, because those folks generally know they're there just for a short period of time and they blast something in place and it doesn't tend to have much longevity. Number 7 would be manual testing leading to test automation. A great QA manager is going to communicate that smart test automation is built upon critical manual test cases. So we start with manual test cases, we categorize them from critical, high, medium, and low, and then we automate the critical test. So red flags are, we just automate everything, or we don't have time to write test cases, can't you just figure it out? That's a reality a lot of us have faced, but something, if you're going to work with a seasoned employer, should not be what you should expect from them. Number 8 is finding someone who's an advocate for quality. It communicates that test automation leads to confidence that the product is working as expected. They also communicate things like testing is about reducing risk. Look for red flags like QA managers so focused on just green, can we just get the test to pass? Those sort of things are blinders that come up often. Or this idea of just automate as many test cases as possible, and all of a sudden it becomes a numbers game. These are the same shops that are going to have huge notebooks full of manual test cases that never get run. And they're probably going to want you to automate them all. Also, number 9 would be automation ownership. Talk about who will run the automation that you build. It's preferable to be owned by the manual test engine. And who's going to analyze the results of the test automation runs? This will be the person determining communication and actions about defects found. They're going to be talking with folks like developers and business folks. A red flag in here would be you'll be responsible for running and analyzing all the test automation results. And let's face it, sometimes in very small shops, this is just the way it is. But if you're working for a mature shop that's got a test team of, let's say, 5 or 6 manual test engineers, that wouldn't be the preferred way. You'd want to have a manual engineer own those tests, and you basically build the test for the manual engineer. Some final thoughts around this. Look for a QA manager that's passionate about the field of quality assurance, and take some time to meet the team you'll be part of and ask them their thoughts about what do they think about test automation. I hope you find these tips helpful. Until next week, this is Greg Pascal. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Greg, for your automation awesomeness. A lot of great tips there. I definitely agree with them. I've written some blog posts. QTP sucks, Selenium rules. I think I did the opposite. I did Selenium sucks, QTP rules, just because people's minds get blown when you say something like that. I don't really mean Selenium sucks or QTP sucks. I was just making a point that regardless of what tool you use, you shouldn't fall in love with it, because eventually it's going to be replaced, or there may be a better tool that you should use, but because you're so in love with the tool, you don't even look at any other solutions that's going to help your company create automation quicker, faster, with better quality. So great tips there, Greg. Thanks again. And as I said, hopefully you'll join us this year. Automation Guild Conference 2018 is now open. Our goal is you learn a tip, tool, technique, or best practice that's going to help accelerate your automation efforts in 2018. As always, if you have any questions, Colantonio.com, test talk to automationguild.com/show and contact me there. So that's it for this episode of the Automation Guild Show. I'm Joe, and my mission is to help you succeed with creating automation awesomeness. As always, test everything and keep the good. Cheers.